Rachel Zegler, Disney's live-action Latina Snow White. Why is Lord Farquaad playing Snow White? Chat music, they're all about this. They're all about the Snow White movie. But if you look at MovieWeb, they are trying to convince you that, hey, guys, you know this first box office tracking we got from Snow White? Not half bad, is it?
No.
Well, no, it's fucking awful. Terrible. Snow White box office tracking might surprise a lot of people. And MovieWeb's coming from the idea, though, it's actually pretty good, guys. We promise. Well, not really. Rachel Zegler, Snow White, early box office projections on continued downward trend for live-action Disney remakes. And these are the numbers right here from Deadline. Snow White hits long lead tracking. Will live-action take of Disney classic whistle a happy tune? Doesn't sound
whistle
like
a happy tune.
Quorum reports a 3-day start for the Mark Webb directed movie of $63 to $70 million, with a lot of other sources believe 65 million at this point in time is fair. As a comparison, the 2014 Angelina Jolie Sleeping Beauty live-action spinoff opened to $70 million. That back 11 years ago.
2014? That's the best they could come up with?
At that level, it would rep the highest domestic opening for Rachel Zegler, because before that, Hunger Birds, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes was the actress's best opening. She's been in like fucking 4 movies. And 2 of them were miserable flops, like West Side Story and Shazam. Yeah. So, again, it being the biggest one isn't really that big of a deal. But, like, think about some of these other comparisons that they have. Obviously, we know what Lion King did in 2019, $191 million opening. Beauty and the Beast, $174 million. We've seen higher, we've seen lower. But when you consider the money they've spent on Snow White, which is upwards of $300 million, the best comparison we really have is the thing that came out just a year or 2 ago. And that's Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid, even though the mainstream media tried to convince people that it didn't flounder at the box office, it absolutely did.
Nice choice of words.
I thought about it for a second. With a $250 million budget that they told us it was actually much more expensive, and a $150 million marketing budget, this thing needed $800 million to break even. It made $569 million at the box office. You remember what this opened to, Jay?
I don't.
Well, I'm here to remind you. $95 million.
Wow.
So Snow White's tracking $30 million. Less than that, about 2/3 of what this one made. It is going to be nearly impossible for them, with the level of interest we're seeing in this movie, to recoup the money that they're spending on it, which is astronomical, which is absolutely astronomical. It is being made in the UK, so we're going to see those filings at some point in time. And we're going to know just how much money they fucking lost on this thing. But it's going to be a while before we know fully the amount of money they spent on it.
I don't even see like the Disney shill accounts like pushing any excitement for this film. Like I see none whatsoever. The marketing has been horrendous. She looks terrible.
The dwarves don't look good.
Yeah, I mean, she could obviously sing. Don't get me wrong, but it's
she can sing, and I've seen a lot of people that probably have just so much musical talent and skill be like, oh, listen to that. Fuck you, you retards. But I think she can sing. I've heard her sing before. No auto-tune or whatever, just from her fucking old YouTube videos. Whatever, she can sing. But it doesn't really matter if she can sing or can't if nobody wants to see her in this role.
That's correct. And even when they do films like this, they even change like certain things in the theme parks for promotion, because they changed the Little Mermaid in the theme parks to match the Little Mermaid of the live action for where you can go meet her and everything. There's like nothing even out there for this as well. So it's almost like let's just release it and hope for the best, and then we'll move on to the next one. But I mean, again, the Captain America is right before. Captain America's 4 more days.
The only thing with Captain America is it doesn't have any competition. Like, that's the only thing you can look at that and be like a positive from like a couple weeks from now, because, hey, like, even if it doesn't open strong, it's got no competition. That's the only thing that potentially could be a favorable thing for it. But right now the tracking is significantly It's pointing to a significant flop for
Yeah.
Captain America: Brave New World. But this
Interesting.
movie, the thing you mentioned, Jay, you don't see the normal Disney people excited about it. You know why? It's because of what this person, Rachel Zegler, it's because what she said about the original movie.
Ah,
Right?
yes.
It's not just like, oh, one side of the culture war was mad at Rachel Zegler for saying this. No, she shit all over the original, which had a bunch of hardcore Disney fans, which might have a screw loose anyway, just saying. But a lot of hardcore Disney adults were really fucking pissed about what she said about the character.
Let me ask you this question. This is if they end up doing a press tour, which is I hope they do, because these Disney press tours have been quite entertaining, more than the films. Do you think they'll bring up the Free Palestine with her co-star, like the reporters, or they're just going to be like,
I
let's
think it's
just
going to be heavily controlled.
okay to keep
I
that
think it's going
to
to be
keep that
heavily
kind of stuff
controlled.
away.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's
how
gonna.
that's
They're
gonna
not
work.
gonna want to delve into that at all. At all.
You don't think they'll be like, do you think Donald Trump buying the Gaza strip, like all that? Do you think all that stuff will be? We'll
You
just
never
get the
know.
how gay is this Snow White? Honestly, is this the gayest Snow White remake ever? Those are the
Yeah.
questions that they're gonna get.
How many times does Happy fuck Sleepy? Like that's gonna be like the fucking things we hear.
Oh man, it's gonna be great. I think the press tour is gonna be great.
It is going to be, but yeah, I don't know if they're gonna allow any questions like that. I think people get their shit pulled if they do.
Interesting.
That's just my guess. I don't
Yeah.
really know, but we'll see.